Well, on the eve of probably one of the biggest games in BYU history, we go to a guy who was under center for maybe the last biggest game. Excuse my English, please. In BYU history, 40-some years ago in the Holiday Bowl, it was Robbie Bosco, who we're talking to right now, who engineered the effort that led BYU to a national championship, that win over Michigan in San Diego. Robbie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I'm sure you got a busy week, a lot of excitement.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on this past week, so I think the big stuff we got taken care of. Now we're back to the team, and we're ready to go for this game.
I mean, how excited are you, just a broad question, to have Kalani Sitake staying put in Provo with BYU?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, Kalani is the staple to BYU. He is the next Lavelle Edwards. He's done so much, and he does a lot more than people realize with the kids, and that's his dynamic, is making sure the kids are doing the right things and are feeling good about where they're at in their life, and also putting together an amazing football team and over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's and you mentioned, it's so cool to hear you mention Lavelle Edwards, and I mentioned off the top 1984. I mean, really, it's not just me saying this, trying to get people excited for this game or this interview. It truly is maybe the biggest game since that 84 game. When you think about 84, what is the first moment, image, or emotion that comes to mind for you?
I think what the impact that it had on college football, first of all, and then the impact it had on who we are, who BYU is, and our fan base, and the excitement of, if given the chance, we can do some amazing things here. And so, I mean, that obviously was a great thing. The landscape of college football has changed so much. I'm agreeing with you. This is, maybe since then, the biggest game that we've ever played in. And because there's no denying, if we win this game, what the college football playoff has to do. And so I think we're all excited. The fans are excited. The players are excited. And, you know, we're going into, I mean, Texas Tech is a very, very good football team. So this, no doubt, this is going to be a game that is going to be an easy game to win. We're going to have to play one of our best games, and we'll see what happens.
Now I'm gonna back to 84 in the history. You know, that was like my first memories of BYU was your team and Danny Ainge too. You know, really kind of put BYU, and sports does this for so many schools, right? But it put BYU center stage. What was it like for you at that time to be the face of a program and a community, even and a school? Did you guys understand some of that responsibility even back then? And did you understand what you were doing was so magical and would move the needle like it did?
Probably at the time, probably not. I mean, it was so brand new to us, and a lot of things had to happen for that to make it possible. I mean, we always felt, at least I always felt, that we needed to be the only undefeated team in all of college football to even have a chance to win the national championship, especially the way it happened back then, where it was all on voting and things like that. So, but as time has gone on, the impact has grown larger and larger, and I think we're all starting to feel it. We probably have felt it probably 15, 20 years ago, but it's even becoming more dynamic. And the great thing is that people talked about it all the time. Whether you are happy that we won it or not, people talked about it. So that's a bonus, and that's what it's all about.
What were in some of the tougher times that season, you know, where you were up against challenges on the field or off the field as a team? Is there a message that you guys carried from Lavelle Edwards into what you did every day that you could share with us? Like, was there something that you still carry with you today from that magical guy?
You know, I think one of the biggest things that he always talked about every single week is not listening to the outside noise. And we can't control how people vote. We can't control what people think, but we can control what we do. And so I think we went into every practice knowing that it was us I'm not even going to say us against the world, but I'm going to say it was us against a lot of different people. But we took that as kind of a chip on our shoulder, and knowing, because we knew we had a pretty good football team. We had a lot of guys drafted in the NFL. We had a lot of guys that made teams. And so that says a lot about a program, and Lavelle brought that too. And so I think as I look back now, I think I take that advice as, look, we can't control what other people are doing on media. If you don't want to listen to it, don't turn on your radio, turn on your Twitter, or all those kind of things. But we can't control who we are and what we're all about, and we need to represent BYU the best way we can.
Do you remember that day? I mean, I'm sure you do, but even getting ready to go to the stadium, old Jack Murphy, to take on Bo Schembechler and Michigan, where was your head at as a young man going into that day, on that day?
Well, I mean, it was crazy, Pete. I mean, as the season progressed, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, the media was at all the practices all the time. But during that game, it was something larger than I think we could even imagine. The stands were packed. The sidelines were packed. The media was there. Kind of like, what is this BYU team all about? And we knew that this was it. I got hurt early in the game, and my thought was, no, I can't miss this game. This is the biggest game that BYU has ever played in any sport, and I've got to be a part of it. And so it was huge. And so I think we all took that as just go out there and play the very best we can, and we'll see what happens. I mean, we made some big mistakes in that game. I think we had about 4 or 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
And our defense was amazing. It was a top 10 defense all year, and it just proved that the outcome was what we wanted and needed.
When you look at BYU this year, I mean, what Bear Bachmeier is doing more and more, it's just like, wow, this is historic now, right? As we move into that, what has been unique about his body of work this year that has grabbed you?
Well, I think it's just his overall game. I mean, I am shocked, to be totally honest, what he's been able to accomplish. And I can't give enough credit to Aaron Roderick, our offensive coordinator, who has brought Bear along kind of slowly. It probably took maybe 4 or 5 games where he really gave him a lot of the offense to work with. And for a rookie to come in and not really having an idea he was going to be the guy until late July or early August, it's remarkable what he's done. I mean, I see Bear I almost see him every day, and he's just got a great demeanor. He almost has a demeanor kind of like Kalani. He's just very nice, very soft-spoken, but when it's game time, he's ready to roll. And each time I see him, he seems to get bigger and bigger. Like the hugs are getting stronger. I'm like, man, Bear, you are one strong guy. But he's been remarkable, and to say that, I can't give enough credit to Jay Hill, our defensive coordinator. Our defense has played super good this year.
Yeah.
And has been stellar, and everybody has just come together kind of like Kalani wants as a team. And it's been a remarkable season so far.
I'm fortunate enough. We do this show inside the 12 here. It goes out all over. But the guy I do it with was a quarterback at Rice, Taylor McCarg. And he talks about exactly what you're saying, how BYU has done such a tremendous job of keeping Bear Bachmeier out of difficult situations, right? Because of the way the defense plays, because of the way special teams play even. And he's not usually, and Aaron Roderick's game plan, right? He's not usually behind the sticks on 3rd down, where he has to really shoulder a lot. In this game against Texas Tech, I mean, a scary opponent. That front 7 is terrifying. Anything different you think BYU needs to do to make sure they keep that going, keep him working out of situations where he can be successful?
Yeah, I think we need some bigger plays. I think this past game against Central Florida, we started throwing the ball over the middle a little bit, and we made some bigger plays. And so I think getting the ball, staying away from 3rd and long situations is probably the biggest thing. and then Bear taking control of the ball and not making some big mistakes and turnovers like we had last time we played them. But I think we just got to be consistent. It's hard against teams like this to sustain long drives. So somehow we got to get the ball and make some bigger plays after we catch it or run it.
There's something bigger going on out of BYU, and I feel like it spills out. It spills from the team chemistry and the vibe around the squad and the school onto Saturdays, right? Where they've been having this great success. And I look at it from like a totality point, like, it was a mystery who the quarterback was going to be. But then all of a sudden, the quarterback now is having a historic season. What do you attribute that to? Is that Kalani Sitake, that facilitation of really being elite over the past 2 years, 22-3 over those past 2 years right now? Like, what to you has enabled the program to do that, even in the most difficult of times, find their way through it and still be successful?
I think the biggest thing is you want to play for Kalani. When he's out recruiting, when he's with the parents of recruits, you get a feeling of, this guy is going to take care of my son. I want this guy to come to BYU. And we are seeing more and more players. I mean, look, it is the day of the transfer portal. People are coming to BYU where we didn't have a chance before, probably. And I think that's the love of Kalani, of what he portrays to everybody. And it's not fake either. That's who he is. And I think that's a big deal. I mean, Bear coming from Stanford and his brother,
yeah,
he really had no affiliation with BYU other than what BYU is about, and they love it. They love it here, and there's more and more players on that team that are just like that.
When a team like a BYU team like this really starts to gain momentum, and you can tell this is serious business, do you start to connect more with your former teammates and alums about what's happening? And if so, like, who are you in touch with?
Well, yeah, I mean, look at everybody's excited about what BYU's doing. It's a family and an extended family. It's not just about the 84 team or the team that you made a play on. People are pumped about this. So I see Glenn Kozlowski quite a bit, and I talked to him on the phone. And he before this year, he may have come to one game, and I've seen him at 3 or 4 games this year. And so he's cheering on the Cougars just like all of us are, and it's just super exciting. Regardless of what happens this Saturday, BYU's in a good place, and they're doing some good things, and hopefully we can get more respect and get more noticed where we should be.
Yeah, I hear that respect being a common thread. And even as a guy who does a lot with the Big 12, I do feel like there is a little bit of that juice from around the country, right? I mean, sometimes we see it in the rankings. Like, in my opinion, there's no way BYU isn't as good as Notre Dame, right? I don't think they should have to win this game to get in. And in fact, I do believe if they lose by less than 7 points, the committee will probably do the right thing and they'll get in. That's just my hunch. But it's special what's happening, but I also think, the Big 12 doesn't get enough credit. When you look at the overall landscape of college football, where do you put the Big 12 among those other conferences? Just from a broad perspective, right? Somebody who knows the game, watches the game, and has a real pulse on BYU and the Big 12.
Well, I think RG3 said it the best in one of the games that he did for us. He's like, isn't this a Power 4 conference?
Yeah.
The Big 12 is in the Power 4. So how are 2 lost teams ahead of BYU when they're only a 1-loss team? And so, I mean, if all fairness is fair, the game that we lost is to the 4th-ranked team in the country. I don't know if Texas Tech is getting the respect they deserve on how good they really are and how good the Big 12 is. And so, I mean, that's really all I have to say about it. I just think that if we're going to be labeled in the Power 4, then treat us like a Power 4 conference and put the teams that deserve in the college playoff system.
All right, last question for you. What does BYU need to do? In your opinion, the number one thing, if we're talking about BYU Sunday morning, having won the game and heading to the college football playoff, what happened? What went right for the Cougars? on Saturday in Arlington?
I would say they took care of the ball. They didn't have turnovers. They controlled the clock. LJ ran the ball like he has been doing all season. But out of all those things right there, I would say turnovers would be the biggest thing.
Man, I can't tell you how much it means, Robbie, to hang with you just for a little bit. You're a legend, and I look forward to the success from BYU on Saturday and continued in the future. But really do have a lot of gratitude for you taking the time this morning.
Thanks, Pete. Great being on your show.